Gates Adams here on behalf of Apex Trader Funding, and I'm here with today with Trader AB. AB is another paid funded trader with Apex Trader Funding, and had an opportunity to get some conversation in today. I appreciate you taking some time and hanging out with me today. How you doing, man?
I'm doing so good. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely a pleasure. It's really motivational and inspirational for me to talk to other traders and hear about their journeys and sort of what they've gone through. And as a struggling trader myself, I mean, I'm definitely improving. It's always good to see what that road might look like. I think it's real easy to get the idea that, hey, I'm going to go watch YouTube for 6 months. I'm going to learn some strategy, and then I'm going to be a millionaire, right?
Everybody that's starting trading, they think that it's going to be easy, but the reality of trading is a long term.
Absolutely. Well, and it's funny because when we think about the grand act of trading, yes, it's going to take time. We're going to learn how to, basically, we're going to learn how to execute trades. We're going to learn how to, develop a strategy. All of these things take time. We're going to learn about the psychology and the mindset to be a successful trader. Well, when you shrink that down to the smaller scale, I think the same thing applies in your actual trading day. Once you've got all of these ducks in a row and you start to actually trade in your evaluations and your PAs, it's so easy to get caught up in the results of a single trade. We don't really think about what's going to happen over the next 99 trades, and that's really where the magic starts to happen. And let's kind of take a step back here. AB, how did you actually get into trading in the first place?
First of all, I'm from Puerto Rico. I started 4 years ago. It's kind of crazy because I started trading crypto.
Okay.
Then I move up to future trading, to NASDAQ in specific. It's been a crazy journey, like up and downs. I started with that same mindset, like, oh man, this will change my life. But then I just hit the harsh reality that it's not that easy.
Right.
So I started to focus on learning how to understand the markets, understand the cycles, and how to develop a niche that gives me, that advantage that I need.
Now, you said you started off with crypto, and depending on when that was, a lot of people made a lot of money in crypto early on. If you bought and held, you were probably going to be in pretty good shape for the most part. Now, did you experience, any of those big wins early on that helped motivate you to get through the tough times, or did that really take a lot of time too?
That was a good thing for me because when I start, I didn't know anything.
Right.
I made a lot of money. I just put money, then it was start printing. But when I start trading, day trading of Bitcoin, short and long Bitcoin, that was really hard stuff because crypto doesn't move like NASDAQ. It was really hard.
That's a common story that we hear these days because we're just talking a couple of years ago, really, where people were making hundreds of thousands, if not more, in just such a, in the blink of an eye, really with no knowledge, no effort. And I hear this over and over, man, I thought I was really good at this. Well, the market was really good. It's not that the trader was necessarily good, but we've gotten to a point where we now see people sticking it out longer than they used to because whether it was you or somebody you see the potential, right? When you see that number go up and up and up and up steadily over time, it's like there is an opportunity here. So maybe
that was my story.
Sure.
I started losing when I started trading, but I said, there's something here. This is a great opportunity. When I move all my attention from making money to develop myself to be a good trader, and that when everything changed.
What ultimately brought you to the realization that you actually had to dig deep, and it wasn't just about executing trades, but it was about becoming a trader?
That's a great question because it was when I met a real trader.
Okay.
Because I start alone. I didn't have anybody that teach me. But when I met this trader in California, and he started talking to me about key performance indicators and all this stuff, the edge, I was like, I don't know nothing about this. So I have to, to focus on develop myself because I don't know nothing. That moment on, I start reading about trading, studying more deeply. It was a 2 years journey, Every day I was back testing, like develop my numbers, my key performance indicators. I'm always focused on data. Data, that moment on, like everything changed for me. Like, okay, now I know what I'm doing.
Sure.
Now I understand why I'm getting into a trade, and I think the hardest part was like controlling myself. But what do you say? Like we sometimes got caught up in the result of just one trade.
Sure.
When it's not like that. Like this is like a basketball game. You can miss one and still won the game.
Absolutely. You said something there that I don't want to gloss over because I think it's really important. You said that was about a 2-year journey, that, you made the decision, you developed an understanding of what it was going to take. And yes, things turned around, but that didn't mean that you were putting money in the bank the next day. It took time, and taking that time takes resilience. Were you doing something else at the time, or were you living on crypto money, or how did that sort of develop for you?
My story is kind of unique because in Puerto Rico, I went to prison, the mistake that I made when I was younger. I'm 37 years old. I was like 20 years old. I made 10 years in prison. And when I got out, this was a whole new world, new technology, and I didn't have much opportunity like to work because of my past.
Sure.
So when someone present me crypto and trading as an opportunity to make a living, I just focus on things. The thing is that I made good money with crypto, and that helped me to have the money to sustain myself while I was developing as a trader.
I love that, man. And what a story of redemption. Look, life happens. And we know sometimes we take roads that we know we shouldn't take, but that's not necessarily a life sentence. And yeah, I think that there was a level of maturity in the fact that maybe every door wasn't open to you, so you had to open your own doors. And ultimately, trading became that resource for you. Now, at this point, are you completely making your living as a trader in the trading space, or is there other pieces of the puzzle for you?
Right now, I'm also a mentor in a trading community in Puerto Rico. Also, I have different business. I have a car rental business. I have an e-commerce business with my wife. I have a wife. I married.
Nice.
I have a baby.
Oh, beautiful! Congratulations.
Yes. So I have now multiple business, and trading is like my main income because I love trading. I love the markets. I love everybody. Every morning, wake up and just analyze the fundamentals. Analyze what is happening in the world with my coffee. I love this. This is my main source of income, and then I have other source of income that back me up. So I don't have the stress to make money in trading.
Man, you opened a few doors all at once, and I think that's absolutely amazing. I mean, it takes a lot to really dig into that confidence to basically write your own ticket, no matter what direction you take. And you've managed to take it in multiple different directions, which, I think this sort of mirrors my attitude towards life. I like to look at different opportunities and see different areas where I can not just contribute to myself, but contribute to others. I got to tell you, the people that move into the world of mentorship, there's a special place in my heart for that, because there comes a point where it's like, okay, you don't necessarily need the money of being a mentor. Nobody works for free, and we all know that people who get free training usually value it as much as they pay for it. So there's that value side of it. But there's also that personal side where the type of person who is going to be successful as a mentor is the person who's doing it for the right reasons, which is, they want to develop, they love to see the growth in other people. And while I haven't had a chance to speak with you that much, I'm kind of getting a sense that that's pretty much who you are. And so I love seeing that. Now, as you've gone down this road, obviously when you're trading crypto in the early 20s, you're trading your own money. We all know that. That's pretty much the case, right?
Yes.
At some point, you moved into the space of trading futures and being a funded trader, as you are obviously now with Apex. What was your first thought when it came to, okay, somebody else is going to be willing to basically take the risk for my trading? What was your initial thought process on that?
I can identify when there's an opportunity.
Sure.
When I saw this model, I say, this is a no-brainer. Like, I can make an investment, another investment, and I can have a big return from that with the less amount of risk. Oh, this is a no-brainer. Let's do it. Let's learn how are the rules, like follow all the rules, and let's do it. It's good.
So you've gone down the road of trading your own funds. obviously, and now obviously operating as a funded trader. Have you noticed anything different within you when you approach the charts, knowing that that's not my life savings on the line? Like, have you noticed anything different in the way that you trade now as a funded trader?
I always been like a risk taker, so I'm not afraid of losing. No, I see opportunity.
Sure.
And when I start trading with funded accounts, like with Apex, there was one main change. And was the risk management, because when you trade with smaller accounts, you tend to risk more, and then with Apex I risk less, and also I'm winning more, and it's like crazy. I don't know if it makes sense, but the risk management was everything.
Part of that even may stem from the idea of, like, when you're a kid and you're playing with your own toy and you break it, you're going to be a little more careless. But if a friend lends you their toy, you're going to be a little more careful with it. And I think this doesn't happen with every trader, I will be the first to tell you, but I think when you start to see the successful traders, they do start to see it this way. This is somebody else's business. This is somebody else's funds that are at play here, and I want to protect that. I want to take care of that. I want to respect that. Regardless of what's going on in the background, I think that mindset starts to develop a level of, I'm going to be careless when it's my own funds. I may take a bigger position than I should, or I may be more likely to chase or revenge trade or whatever the case may be. Whereas when somebody else has that level of involvement, it's like, I'm going to respect those rules. I'm going to respect those guidelines, not just because it's the only way I'm going to get paid, because you got to follow the rules, but also because I made a commitment to do so. Look, the easiest person in the world to break a commitment to is yourself. The second you make that to somebody else, there's a different dynamic. Have you found any of that in how you continue to progress as a funded trader?
Yeah, definitely. I'm always like focused on how can I be a better trader, like more professional trader, more focused on a professional execution. I think there's a main problem in the trading overall. Almost everybody is focused on only make money. I want to make money.
Right.
When you start like focusing on data, on how are your key performance, what your key performance indicators are telling you, like your risk to reward, your profit factor, and now I have a constant battle with myself to improve my numbers.
Right.
I want to have like good numbers month for month. That made me like a more disciplined trader, because I when I was trading my funds, I was only 10% here.
Right.
Let's do it. So now I'm like always cautious. I don't know if
cautious.
Yeah, I'm always cautious, and I want to be very selective with the trades that I do.
You know, we've talked about the past and kind of how you got here. What's the next step in this process for you? Where do you go from here?
You know, my story. I want to inspire people.
Yeah.
I wish I can go to school to talk to young boys, you know, because I know that all my problems started when I was in the school. So I want to keep this progress, to be successful, so I can be an example to younger generations to do the things right, and know that there are options. Sometimes we have this mindset that we say, I don't have anything else. Yes, you have opportunities. Sure. Just go for it. With Apex, I want to get next funded. I want to have my 20 accounts.
Right.
I'm just going like step by step. And this is actually my second payout.
Okay.
I made two with that account, so I'm just grateful with this company.
Well, what a pleasure to chat with you. This has definitely been a lot of fun, very inspiring, and I love the direction that you're going, because it's not self-centered. And when we talk to traders, a lot of times, and I've said this before, a lot of times traders have more monitors than they have, friends that they can talk to about trading. It does take a certain mindset to want to step outside of that and contribute in other ways and be a part of other stuff. So congratulations. What an inspiring story, and I look forward to catching up again here. Maybe we have a chat next couple of months and really see where things are developing from here, because I'd love to see what you got coming up.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
AB, what a pleasure, man. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I look forward to chatting soon.
Thank you.